sold black Hebrews into slavery? The surprising answer for the majority is Negroes, descendants of ancient black Egyptians, whom they call Hamites, modern Africans, sold Shemites, African Americans, now into slavery from Africa, thus inculminating in the infamous Transatlantic Slave Trade. Now, the white Arabs who have engaged in all-time slavery of the black people for over 1,300 years fly by under the radar. Nobody calls them. Why would Africans sell Hebrews into slavery? Why the silence on Arab slavery? What would the Africans gain in selling the Hebrews into slavery? Who actually sold who here? What race were the Hebrews or the seller? Finally, and very crucial, what is the enslaver subtly teaching modern black people today? Hamite Hebrew Ethics, a life spirit of Amen.com. Subscribe to our channel. This is Priest Teacher Rabbi L.M. Dumizulu. Coming and foremost, critical foundational understanding is about the races as known by the ancient Egyptians some years ago. You can see there on the image, there is the popular Book of Gates of 4th Division Hour, as photographed by Francis Zikowski, showing who the people were in ancient times, which race, the 4 races which were known in ancient times. Unfortunately, this has been demolished and a new one has been put in place. The 4 races known and recorded in stone during that time, which was later destroyed by Europeans and Arabs in Africa, are the Kemui. These 2 are the Kemui. And also Nohuso or Nehis, who were black people. This included all the Egyptians and all the Africans during that time. Then we've got the Namon or Semitic or Asiatics. These are the Semoi or Asiatics known during that time. They are all, and then the Tamohu, who are the modern Europeans. These are the 4 races known during that time, and they are arranged in this image according to their importance to the god Horesu, so-called Horus, as well as their social hierarchy. So the question is, who is your ancestor if you are an Hebrew Israelite? Now, we know that only black Africans have the genetic potential to express a broad range of traits, being the most diverse people on the planet. However, how is it that most of the statues of the royals in ancient Egypt and nobility and gods pictured in Hamitic Egyptian pharaohs were depicted with characteristics only exclusively found on the black Africans? Where are the Semites here? Prophecies are fulfilled or history repeating itself. When you read Deuteronomy 28, which is the text normally used by our brothers in the States who say that the Africans or black Africans or Bantu sold them into slavery, is that it says the Lord will grant you abundant prosperity in the fruit of your womb, the young of your livestock, and the crops of your ground in the land he swore to your forefathers to give you. So the blessings were supposed to be given in Africa. Therefore, the land of the Hebrews is ancient Africa. Now, what is the role of Israel here? Which land? The Bible shows us that this is the land as depicted in Genesis 15:18, where the Hebrews live. It's all Africa. This Havila, which is India today, Ashur, which is where the most Hebrews were, or Israelites were captured to, and the Nile River. This is the place where we know they lived, we know they were given. So critically understanding this, it is that there are 2 aspects that we must understand and accept. According to the Bible, according to the Torah, there is colonization in the Torah in Leviticus 26 and Deuteronomy 28, and there is also diasporic enslavement. In other words, a large chunk of Hebrews would be taken into slavery, and a lot of them will remain scattered all over Africa. So Leviticus 26 verse 32 says, I myself we lay waste to the land, so that your enemies who live there will be appalled. Who live where? Who live in Africa, which we have already identified as the land of the Hebrews. So this is where they are. So which means they are still in Africa today as black people, as part of the black nation. And then he said, I will scatter you among the nations, and you will draw out my sword and pursue you. Which means all those that are in the diaspora will face difficulties. But even Deuteronomy says, those that are still in Africa, they will see their enemy prosper. In other words, the European and the Arab will be rich here in Africa, whilst the original Hebrews will be poor. We have seen this, that this is exactly what is happening today. The other contradiction would be, when you read 43, Leviticus 26:43, it says, I'll remember my covenant with Jacob and my covenant with Isaac and my covenant with Abraham, and I'll remember the land. Which land? He says, for the land will be deserted by them and will enjoy its Sabbaths while it lies desolate without them. So this has not been fulfilled. There is no land in Africa which has not been touched. So we understand that it means Africa, not any other place. So here's the proof that even in Africa, the Hebrews are still there. If you follow the Bible, it's Zephaniah 3:10-11 says, from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my worshippers, my dispersed ones will bring my offerings. In that day, you will feel no shame because of all your deeds by which you have rebelled against me. For then I will remove from your midst your proud, exulting ones, and you will never again be haughty on my holy mountain. Holy mountain means Africa here. This is the place. And beyond the rivers of Ethiopia means Southern Africa as well as Western Africa. This is where you still find Hebrew is today. The old map that they show here about Judah in West Africa, in Guinea there. Remember, it also, if you look at that, it also shows the Bantu kingdom of Jabulani. There it is, Jabu. This is the kingdom. It's still Bantu land, all of that. Now, on the other hand, it is also clear from Old Testament that even the Ethiopians themselves, even the black people, were also going to slavery. Isaiah 24 says, and the Lord said, like as my servant Isaiah has walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and a wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. Straightforward slavery has been on and going. It's a historical cycle. It repeats itself on any other people that have been conquered. The reason is we must ask who has been conquered. It is clear that even the Ethiopians, this image that you see, also represents the slave trade to the India by the Muslims, and the slave trade by the Christian European Christians. So it's quite clear. It's quite honest. So we want to be aware of modern scholarship, because it either unites or divides us. The basic truth is that black people are at war with the Tamaho. The war is not only fought in the battlefield with the weapons. It is a spiritual war fought with psychological blows, psychological tactics. I've got a posting here on Google here. When you say the people of Judah, let's read and see what it says. It says the so-called African Americans or black Negroes are the Jews, the tribe of Judah only. And then it goes that one family of people has ever been brought into slavery with ships. Black history as it is understood today is summarized in Deuteronomy 28, I think 68. The Jews were slaves once in Egypt and again in Americas. You see, this is incorrect already from what we have shown you, that black people, even Ethiopians, were taken in slavery, even Hebrews were taken in slavery, and who sold them into slavery. We will show you who did that. But we know who bought that. We know who created a market for that. Then here, why the dead tribe? Black ancient Egypt is mentioned about 700 times in the Bible. Egypt 595 times, Egyptians 120 times. Obviously, it plays a vital role in the history of the Hebrews. Egypt was and still is the magnificent overture to the Israelite story. Take Egypt out and the whole structure of Israelite tale would instantly fall. Therefore, the teaching that black people sold the Israelites into slavery, and the videos and the posting and the teachings, is a myth of Israel, is a myth created to divide, to conquer. We can see that the image coming up there shows all the myths that are there. The greatest myth begins there. If you say, as you are a black Hebrew today, as you teach, that this is your ancestor, this Tamahu is your ancestor, well and good, so you have misgenerated. Our ancestors were black. The Asiatic is a misgeneration or a product of this and the black people. That's quite clear. That's straightforward. Now, yes, we know that some African kings engaged in slave trade. Even today, some African kings are even engaged in slavery. Their policies, their economic policies, their socio-cultural rule, way they rule, the abject poverty they create, the culturing and the systemization of poverty, fear, destruction, civil wars. We know that they are complicity into that. Therefore, we cannot say Africans sold Africans into slave trade. It's a tradition that we must understand. We quote here from Chaplin G, Geographical Distribution of Environmental Factors Influencing Human Skin. We see that we are all one if we subscribe to the doctrine of being black. Skin color made for indigenous peoples predicted from multiple environmental factors. So you see here in Africa, this Central Africa is a black people. And all these are black areas where people are black. And you see, it's from lightest to darkest. This is what we know. And it's quite clear that if you are black, where are my cousin? The divide and rule tactic should be destroyed and removed from us. Subscribe and tell others about Hamitic Hebrew ethics. Last spirit of a man came. Thank you. Goodbye.